What if the grid goes down and you're left to survive on your own? Imagine a world where the conveniences we rely on vanish in an instant. The lights flicker out, the hum of electricity fades to silence, and the comforting glow of our screens goes dark. No more smartphones, no more running water, no more heat to shield us from the cold. The world as we know it reverts to a primal state, and in that moment, the only thing standing between you and chaos is your ability to survive. It's not just a plot from a dystopian novel. A grid-down scenario could happen in an instant, whether from a natural disaster, a cyber attack, or an infrastructure collapse. When that happens, your knowledge, preparation, and instincts become your lifeline. Today, we're going to arm ourselves with survival skills that are not just about enduring, but thriving in a world where technology has gone silent. These skills may seem distant for our modern lives, but they're essential when the grid goes down. The essentials of survival. When you find yourself in a survival situation, it's important to focus on 4 key elements: water, food, shelter, and warmth. These are the pillars of survival, and neglecting any one of them can spell disaster. Water. Water is life. The human body can only survive 3 days without it, so securing a reliable source of clean water is your top priority. In the wilderness, water can be found in streams, rivers, lakes, and sometimes in the vegetation around you. Look for signs of water like green vegetation, animal tracks, or the sound of a flowing stream. But remember, just because water looks clean doesn't mean it's safe. Boiling water for at least 1 minute is the most effective way to kill harmful bacteria and viruses. If boiling isn't an option, filtering through a makeshift filter using sand, charcoal, and cloth can help. Chemical treatments like iodine or bleach drops can also purify water in a pinch. Keep these techniques in mind. Clean water means survival. Food. While the human body can survive weeks without it, a lack of nourishment will weaken you quickly, making it harder to think clearly and act decisively. The wild offers a variety of edible plants, nuts, and berries, but it's crucial to know what's safe to eat. Foraging can be dangerous if you're unfamiliar with the local flora, so do your research beforehand. Insects, as unappetizing as they may seem, are a rich source of protein and are eaten by cultures around the world. But if that's not your style, hunting and fishing can provide more familiar meals. Setting simple snares or fishing with handmade tools can yield results. The key is adaptability, learning to use the environment around you to provide sustenance. Shelter. Shelter protects you from the elements and is more than just a roof over your head. In a grid-down world, your shelter needs to be practical, sturdy, and insulated to keep you warm. Location is key. Find a spot that's dry, flat, and protected from potential hazards like falling branches or rising water. If you're near a water source and have access to firewood, you're in good shape. Your shelter could be a simple lean-to, a debris hut, or even a snow cave depending on your surroundings. Insulate your structure with leaves, grass, or snow to keep the warmth in. In survival, comfort takes a backseat to practicality. Warmth. Fire is more than a tool, it's life itself. It provides warmth, cooks your food, purifies your water, and wards off predators. There are various ways to start a fire, from the classic hand drill and fire plow to flint and steel. Matches and lighters might be more convenient, but knowing how to create fire from scratch is a skill that can save your life. Preparation is key. Always gather your tinder, kindling, and fuel before attempting to start your fire. Once you master fire making, you've conquered one of the greatest challenges in survival: navigation. In a grid-down world, GPS will be a thing of the past, so you'll need to rely on more ancient methods of navigation. The sun and stars have guided travelers for millennia. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west, giving you a basic sense of direction. At night, the North Star can guide you if you know where to look. But nature isn't always predictable. Clouds can obscure the sky. That's when landmarks become crucial. A distinctive tree, a boulder, or a mountain can serve as your guideposts. And if you're feeling resourceful, you can create a makeshift compass with a magnetized needle, a leaf, and a bit of water. Survival is about resourcefulness, using the tools at your disposal to find your way. First aid. Injuries are inevitable in a survival situation, and knowing basic first aid can be the difference between life and death. A well-stocked first first aid kit is essential, but even without one, there are basic principles to follow. For cuts, apply pressure to stop the bleeding. For sprains or strains, remember the acronym RICE: rest, ice, compression, and elevation. If a bone is broken, immobilize it to the splint. Burns need to be cooled with water, then covered with a clean bandage. And if you're bitten by an animal or insect, clean the wound and seek help as soon as possible. Prevention is key. Always be mindful of your surroundings and avoid unnecessary risks. Signaling for help. Survival isn't always about going it alone. Sometimes signaling for help is your best bet. Fire signals are universal. 3 fires in a triangle or line indicate distress. During the day, smoke can be seen from miles away, while at night, the flames will alert rescuers to your location. Ground-to-air signals are another option. Large symbols made from rocks, logs, or any contrasting material can be seen from aircraft overhead. And don't forget your whistle. 3 short blasts is the international distress signal when you're lost in the wilderness. Signaling could be the difference between staying lost and being found. Mindset. In the end, survival is as much about mindset as it is about skills. In a world where the grid is down and chaos reigns, your greatest asset is your ability to stay calm. Panic clouds your judgment and leads to poor decisions. So take a deep breath, assess your situation, and make a plan. But remember, plans are not set in stone. Adaptability is crucial to survival. Be ready to change your approach as circumstances evolve. And most importantly, maintain hope. Hope is the flame that keeps you moving forward, even when the odds are against you. Survival is 90% mental. Stay calm, stay adaptable, and stay hopeful, and you can survive anything. And there you have it, a guide to surviving when the grid goes down. But perhaps the most important lesson is this: survival isn't just about skills, it's about mindset. The will to survive is your most powerful tool. So stay safe, stay prepared, and remember, the strength to survive comes from within.